Jay here for Stretford, Paddock. This is the paper talk. Well, technically it's Gazzetta, but I've had to wait in, so I've got the kids here, so I've not been able to go out and get the papers, but I've got all the news anyway. We're going, not old school, new school. We're going online. We don't need papers today. We've got all the stories from the online publications, and we've actually got some of the back pages as well, so don't worry about it. We've got you covered. Make sure before anything you are hitting like, share, and subscribe. Got a load of stories to get through, some of them focusing on United's epic win against Fulham yesterday. It does feel like a bit of a big one, doesn't it? It's mad. You're playing a team that are 14th in the Premier League. It's November, early November. It shouldn't be that important, but it did have a bit of a big feel to it, didn't it? That last-minute winner from Bruno Fernandes. So we'll be getting into some stories focusing on that. Also, a very interesting transfer story. And judging by yesterday's reaction to his performance on social media, a lot of people will be very, very happy about this one. I suspect they will be. Anyway, get involved in the comments and the chat and let us know if you're not for any reason. Right. First things first, obviously. There's a nice little story here doing the rounds about David De Gea. He put on his social media, "You are not the right captain," after the win against Fulham. He was to Bruno Fernandes. He said, Bruno Fernandes, he put United love heart. "You are not the right." Oh, sorry. He put to Bruno Fernandes, let's get it right. "You are not the right captain." And then the zip across the mouth emoji, obviously firing shots about Roy Keane's comments saying that Bruno wasn't or isn't the right Manchester United captain. And it's ironic. He's not being serious there, David De Gea, when he says it. He's having a little joke with his pal. So I kind of like that, to be honest with you. I kind of like the fact that he's sticking up for his pal, and it's pretty funny, and I don't think you'd have to take it too seriously, because I think it was last week when we got beat off City, Keno had said, "The first thing I would do is take the captaincy off him. I know it's a big decision, but Fernandes is not captain." But Cyril, he did go on to say he's a brilliant footballer, but the opposite of what you want as a captain. Now, Bruno has had his critics. He's not always been perfect. So I'm not going to say, oh, just because he scored against Fulham that everything has been rosy. But he was given the captaincy for a reason. And I spoke about this yesterday after the game. Erik ten Hag stuck up for Bruno Fernandes. He was saying, he was sort of singing his praises after the game. And rightly so, because I think if you are going to criticize someone when they don't do well, then it's only right that you give them credit when they do well. And I'll get into that in a minute as well when it comes to Harry Maguire, because obviously he is someone who's had a lot of stick, but I think he's done very, very well recently. Just on Bruno Fernandes, Ten Hag said, "I don't understand it. Everyone has mistakes and no one is perfect. He is massively important to us." That was with him talking about Bruno Fernandes getting criticised as captain or questioned as captain. He says he doesn't understand it. Also, another stat, I mentioned this yesterday, Bruno Fernandes had 122 goal involvements in 200 matches for United in all competitions. That's pretty phenomenal. Just a few other quotes from Erik ten Hag while we're here. He said, "I'm sure we will improve as we get players back, and today was a solid performance. You see a base, a foundation to build from." I want to talk about Harry Maguire as well. He said, "Not only defending with the ball, very good progressive passing through the lines, very good performance." Harry Maguire getting his flowers for him yesterday. I mean, listen, he's had his critics. We know that. He's had a lot of critics online, but I thought he was very, very good yesterday. There was a little bit of an update as well on Harry Maguire, because he seemed to suffer that head injury, didn't he? There was question marks over whether he was concussed for much of the game. It says here, there's an article in Evening News, Harry Maguire suffered head and hand injuries. I think the second injury was a hand injury in separate incidents during United's win over Fulham. It then goes on to say Marcus Rashford travelled to London. There was a little Marcus Rashford update, but failed a fitness test on Saturday morning after he sustained a knock in United's last training session on Friday. So Erik ten Hag, speaking about that, said yes, he had complaints after training. He travelled with us, but today the complaints were that much he couldn't start. It would be a risk to start him and lose him over more weeks and games. So we didn't want to go with the risk because we have many more important games to play. So there was some sort of rumours doing the rounds that maybe Marcus Rashford had been dropped because of him going to his birthday party after the Derby defeat, or maybe he wasn't happy with the manager's comments. Doesn't seem like that. Erik ten Hag seems to say, well, he is saying it's nothing like that. It's just he was injured, and he said if he was available, he would have been picked. So I don't think there's any sort of truth to the rumours that a few mischief makers are trying to do. Just on the Maguire concussed thing as well, I think Maguire himself has spoken about that. And he insists he knew where he was, which is always handy if you're playing football, and that he wasn't concussed. Speaking to MUTV after the game, he said, obviously, I got a knock really early in the game. The doc did all the tests, and I knew where I was and was answering all the questions, and I completed them, thankfully. If the doc says I'm okay to carry on, then I'm always going to carry on. And he did carry on, and he did play very, very well indeed, helping Manchester United to a much-needed win. Probably a little bit unlucky, in my opinion, not to get a man of the match. I know Bruno got the winner. I think he got man of the match, but I had to give it Maguire. I thought he had a very good performance, picking some great passes. What you want to see from Harry Maguire. So, yeah, I don't really get too caught up in the whole got man of the match award, because at the end of the day, it's just one person's opinion. But yeah, it was. I think he could quite easily have picked that gong up. Let's talk about Antony, because he was getting pelters yesterday on social media, and I've not been his biggest fan, to be honest with you. I was hoping he'd kick on this season, because I thought last season he was slightly underwhelming, if I'm being honest. I know what he brings to the team, but I don't think I wasn't impressed with his lack of productivity. It's not all about goals and assists when you're an attacking player, but that plays a big part of what you bring to the team, and it should do. You have to contribute goals and assists, and he doesn't. He didn't do it enough last season. I think he went about 5 months, was it, in the Premier League without a goal and an assist. His goal involvements haven't been great. This season, I don't think he's had any. So I know he's got stuff going on off the pitch, but regardless of what is going on in his life, the fact of the matter is, I don't think he's performing at the levels you want from a Manchester United player. Can he turn it around? We'll have to wait and see. Erik ten Hag's paid a lot of money for him, so you suspect that Erik ten Hag would be backing him. However, there's a story here in the Mirror. It says, Man United greenlight extraordinary Antony swap deal ahead of January transfer window. It says, Manchester United want Brazilian striker Gabriel Barbosa in January and are willing to offer Antony in part exchange on loan. United are struggling for goals, as Marcus Rashford, who netted 30 times last season, has scored just once. Højlund 3 times, while Garnacho and Anthony Martial have only struck just once. United are now drawing up plans for January, while Sir Jim Ratcliffe's proposal to buy a 25% stake in the club drags on. Until major new investment is finalised, United must navigate financial fair play regulations and are considering cut price deals as they aim to add more attacking options. A little bit on this Barbosa kid. He says he's 27. He scored 28 goals for top flight Flamengo this term in all competition. Is available at discounted 20 million as his contract is up at the end of 2024. His club, Flamengo, are also interested in taking Barbosa's Brazilian compatriot Antony off United's hands on loan in part exchange for the forward, who has 5 goals in 18 caps for his country. Then goes on to talk about how Antony's what he cost and all the other stuff that's happening as well. A troubled season following allegations of domestic abuse. So yeah, it's not been an easy time regardless of what's going on. I'm not saying, we've got to all feel sorry for him, because we don't know the outcome of that. So be careful how we will sort of word things. But it's not been an easy time for him on or off the pitch, and he's just not performing. So is it time for him to move on? It would be a big, bold move from Erik ten Hag if he was to get rid of a player that he paid a lot of money for, a player that he knew from his time at Ajax as well. But if it's for the good of the team, I'd be about it. I would bout it, as the kids say. If you look at what Pep Guardiola, for example, did with Claudio Bravo, brought him in and then replaced him when he realised he wasn't up to it. And I don't think Antony's up to it. Happy to be proven wrong, but I don't. Just on a couple of the back pages, it says Ten Hag hails his special brew picture of Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes, that was on the Express, getting some credit there from his manager. Also on the back of the Star, it says Devil's Saviour. Boss has his special brew. That seems to be the pun of the day. And it also says Ratcliffe will give Erik ten Hag time. Good to hear that. We know that Erik ten Hag has been under pressure. It doesn't all change one result, but let's be reasonable here. I mean, it's not been a completely disastrous season in the sense that we're without a doubt out of the top 4 race and we're out of all the cup competitions and it's just shambles. Yes, we're out of the Carabao Cup, and yes, we haven't done very well in Europe, but there's still a lot of football left to play. We know that Erik ten Hag has a lot to deal with, and I still feel we should stick with this manager, give him time to turn things around. Listen, I'm going to leave it there, but back in the morning outside Old Trafford with a paper talk, so make sure you are subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out on any of that. It's quite sunny here in Salford, although it is a bit nippy, so you might need your parkers anyway. I've been Motty. This has been Gazzetta. Thanks for watching.